You are now listening to the Odd Valley Podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Odd Valley Live, where we drink and talk about stuff. I'm Mochi Squeeze, your host, and right over there is Jacob Jones, your other host and producer. He's messing with his hair because he should have fixed his hair, but he didn't. So he's doing this weird split thing where he.
I'm not doing a weird split thing. You're doing a weird split thing. And see, now I missed the thing.
With his hair. So, I mean, I
How's
don't
that?
know.
Is that look good? Let's try this.
He's doing this
okay?
weird,
I'm not trying to do a
like
weird
down
thing.
the middle split thing.
It's
like
not
the guy
down the
from,
middle. It's my
from Little,
my cowlick does a
from
specific
Little
thing.
Rascals.
Now you made
with
me
the
mess up
guy
my hair.
That has his thing pointed up in the back. Is exactly what
My
that
hair is
looks
all
like.
jacked up.
But anyways,
I need a haircut.
Or he just needs
What's up?
to
How we
fix
doing?
his hair with like actual hair gel or pomade or whatever.
Well, I thought we had till 7. It's not even 7
But
yet.
it's fine.
So
It's fine.
you're gonna have
we
to deal
got
with
it.
my
You're just
crazy
gonna have to
producer
deal
hair.
with Jacob's weird hair situation. But you know
Well,
what?
I might get a
Who
haircut
cares?
this weekend.
Live your life. You know.
Okay.
Do what you
Yeah.
do. Anyways.
Sure.
Anyways.
What's up, guys?
So if this is the first time you're listening, we are a drinking podcast, so we do drink because it is somewhat happy hour. We started a little late. I know I tweeted that we were going to start at 6:30, but me and Jacob got our wires crossed here, and he thought that I put down that we were going to start at 7 like we did last time, but anyways, it's okay. We're always running a little late. So
I thought we talked about it, and you said 7. So I don't know where I heard that or what happened, but yeah, I told everybody 7 o'clock. But
yeah.
guess what? It's 6:57.
It doesn't
It's
matter
still
because we
technically
are always late.
Technically, it's
So,
still happy hour.
Doesn't even matter, but
It's
it is
still technically happy hour.
yeah,
so it's
but
kind
it
of all
is
that
happy
matters.
hour. But doesn't matter. Do we need happy hour to drink? No, we drink anytime we want.
No, of
So,
course not. But we always try to make it within the happy hour time frame.
Yes, but so we do drink on this podcast heavily.
Given.
So
Yes.
we would love it if you would drink with us too. As long as you are of legal age in your country to drink, because we do not condone underage drinking. But
Yeah.
have fun with us, please, because
Uh-huh.
it's better that way if you drink with us.
Have fun with us.
Yeah, have fun with us.
I'm just yelling that at you now.
Today we're gonna I'll do a little housekeeping, but I will introduce the topic real quick. Our topic today is going to be Nintendo. So
Nintendo.
I mean, I don't know too much about it. Jacob knows more about it. I
okay.
know some stuff, so I
Uh-huh.
felt like it was an okay topic that we could tackle because I could learn stuff and maybe I could contribute whatever I do know, which might not mean anything, but that's fine.
Right.
But that is what we're talking about today. Mind you, if you are a first-time listener too, the point of the show is that we try to give you a little bit education on something, on a topic, but we are getting drunk as we do it, so the lines blur between what's real and what's not. Which is
the later
how
the
it is.
the show goes, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah.
So
I mean, sometimes we just kind of bullshit, but
Yeah.
this is one of our infotainment episodes.
yeah, so we don't take ourselves too seriously, which you shouldn't either. So if you're trying to get the real facts for a report of some sort, we probably aren't to be trusted. So just letting you know in advance.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
But I mean, I'm real confident that our podcast is fun. But I
me too,
will
yes.
tell you that I will be
Yes,
very
indeed.
honest that sometimes the info we give you might not be fully correct. So
Well,
please just fact check us as we go along, because we do get very drunk as we start talking about this stuff.
Well, this time around, I'm getting my all my information from sources, so please direct all of
Um,
your anger towards sources if I'm incorrect.
But yeah, so that's what we do, and that's what we're doing today.
Mhm.
But before we get started, we are going to talk about a little bit of housekeeping, as we always do in the beginning of the episode. This will be we are going on a break next week. I mean, at least I am. I don't know what Jacob is going to do, if he's going to continue on with recording, which is with a guest, but
That's the
not going to be
plan.
on. I'm not going to be on Odd Valley next week because I am going back to see my family in California, which I'm pretty excited about because we got some stuff planned and I'm really excited. I'm not excited about the flying part, but I'm always nervous about that. So can't say anything about that. But once I get there, I'll be just fine and I'll be having fun.
Just fan.
But yeah, I'll give Jacob the choice on whether he wants to do the preliminary shot now before he starts getting into the other, housekeeping, or if you want to wait until after the housekeeping before we do Trebek.
Every episode, we start the beginning part with a shot that we call the preliminary shot. Today, I don't know if my mom's watching right now, but she could be, so I'm taking a shot of her limoncello, which is very cloudy with all sorts of lemon goodness in here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
her limoncello is really good.
I don't know what you think you're looking at, but it is one of the most delicious, tastiest things ever here, in the form of liquor. And she makes a shit ton of it, and I'm just getting the word out. Mom, this one's for you. So anyway, cheers
all
to
right.
you.
Cheers,
Have a shot
everyone.
with us,
Have a shot with us.
and let's all get jacked up. Happy Friday.
So yeah,
It goes down smooth too.
her limoncello is
Yeah,
really
baby.
good.
Yeah,
I normally
super
don't
lemony. It's like full of liquor.
Yeah, it's
I felt
not
that in
as sweet as like normal limoncello is, which is nice because I'm not really into too many sweet things. So yeah, her limoncello is bomb.
Yeah, it's really good, and just getting the word out there. It's delicious, and we had a big ass bottle of it, so why not take a shot?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get a bit of the housekeeping stuff out. Like Mochi Squeeze said, that we're not gonna have an episode next week with her. I plan on trying to get an episode together, but if no one can kind of like show up for it, like I'm not gonna just do an episode alone. But who knows? I might do some sort of content next Friday. Or I might like go do something instead. So we'll keep you posted. If you want to know the current, most up to date news about what's going on with us, follow us at Odd Valley Pod. Odd Valley Pod on Twitter. That's where we put all the news of what we're doing, all the up to date information about the show. So follow us there. Also, if you want to watch the show later on YouTube, just go on YouTube, search Odd Valley. You'll find Odd Valley Studios. You'll find this show. You'll find our Odd Valley Plus stuff. That's extra types of episodes. You'll find Neon Pocket Dimension, which is my show with Luke Shot First, a.k.a. Gage, and Miguel, who's been on the show a bunch of times where we get really nerdy. So if you want to watch the episodes of that, that's also on our YouTube channel. And I don't know. I think that's all we have on there for now. Also some game streams, playing games and streaming it. We'll put those VODs up on there too. And then if you want to listen to us live, go to twitch.tv/Odd Valley between 6:30 and 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time on Fridays. And then we also have an audio version of the podcast that you could just, go to any podcast feed, Spotify, we're on there, Apple Podcasts, we're on there. You could just listen to the audio version of this show. But this is Odd Valley Live. Yes, it's live streamed. Yes, it's visual. Come watch us.
Yeah, it's
check
fun.
us out.
It's
but
fun.
that's all your options.
It would look at our stupid faces as we drink, and you could see all the facial expressions I make when Jacob says something like really dumb, because apparently it's very easy to tell in my face what I'm thinking without saying it. So
I just wanted to
told.
address up top that there was some, and actually I don't even know where it is. That's how bad it is. Last week we got really freaking drunk. We
Yeah,
got like
but
disgustingly
that
drunk.
was Jacob's fault.
Yeah, and you could blame me or whatever, but people had given me a bunch of like stuff. Let's see if I can find it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, like I asked a bunch of people questions, and they answered, and I'm just realizing
Only
right
Valley fans. I like that.
now I lost it.
But we don't get
Only Valley
naked.
fans. No, there's no nakedness here.
We could, if we do get popular, then maybe we could, branch
Patreon.
off.
Patreon.
But we don't know. We got to think about it.
Anyway,
It'll be just pictures of Jacob's hairy chest.
okay.
And
Is there
feet.
like a wiki feet but for chest hair?
Maybe.
'Cause I have-
People need to tell. Like
I do have the bat symbol here.
Yeah. But
Jesus Christ. Anyway, what
that's
I was trying
happened.
to say is that last week I asked a bunch of people about playground games that they like. They all answered. I forget all the shit that they said. I wrote it down somewhere, and I was going to read it here, and I cannot find it. But I do have to at least say there's this one guy in Japan that said that they played with spiders. And I don't know if I mentioned
we
that.
did mention that.
Oh, I did? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I
we
can't
did
remember what
mention
happened
that.
last time,
We
but
did.
anyway, I'm just bringing it up because last week's episode was ridiculous. So go ahead and check that out.
But this time we are just going to
It's gonna be
played it
normal.
Cool. It's gonna be normal.
Ish.
We're not gonna get
we're
too
still gonna get
wild.
drunk.
We're still gonna get drunk, but not as fast because that
Yeah.
shit happened quickly. It was like
Yeah.
power hour.
Yeah, it
like,
was straight
for
up
real.
Power hour,
So,
maybe even more than that, because I feel like most of the time we were just chugging. Just chugging. That's all we were doing.
Yeah. So, anyways, like let's
Cool.
go on to the topic. So, the topic at hand. We are going. Next up is our wheel. We call him Trebek. But he is a wheel of misfortune because he has words on them. We spin them twice. And whatever word it lands on, if we say those words during the podcast, we have to drink. Which means we drink, you drink, we all drink. So we have a good old time. And
Good old time.
yeah, and it'll be fun. So I hope you guys have a drink in hand. And yeah, so we'll do that.
Put that drink in my hand.
Yeah, so let's turn on action cam.
Oh, you want to engage action cam?
Engage action cam right now.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Ever since I think last week, we have a badass action cam for you. You can actually read everything that's happening.
Yeah.
You can actually see what's happening.
Yep. I had to this time because you could really see it clearly. I had to ask Jacob to make sure I didn't misspell anything because
Well,
I did misspell something, but we're not gonna tell what it was. I will say that it was because it was kind of hard to spell it a certain direction.
Yeah.
So
well, you chose to
it
spell
was
it.
like
You chose to do it like that.
because
That
it
was your
won't fit.
That was your choice.
I'm just gonna say it's either you gotta
That was
write
your
it really
choice.
tiny or you gotta write it that way, and no one's
Okay.
gonna know what that is. But anyways,
Sure. Well, which one looks different? Because it's my handwriting. Anyway, here we go.
well, he's gonna read it
Here we go.
right now.
Drink. Here's the different. Did you explain the words?
I explained the words already, so you can.
So
go
we
ahead
spin it
and-
twice
yes,
and then-
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's because I'm always also doing something else in the background.
So you
Here's
should
the
just trust me as the host.
I am. I just didn't hear it, so I'm just asking.
Okay.
Drink, drunk. That's one of the possible words. Toy.
Mhm.
Nintendo. Old/new. Fun. Hard/easy. Console. Game. Character. Written in my handwriting. And country. And that means like... for this one, game, that's just the word game. But over here for country, that's any country. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we go. We're going to spin it twice, and then let's see what happens.
Spinning it twice.
Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Console.
Console.
Let's
Okay.
spin it the other way. Let's see what happens. And character.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And that's like if we say
green
any
slice.
character of
What?
a thing. Yeah,
Oh.
not just the word
Oh.
character. It's
Oh.
like,
So like if we say the name of a character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. All right, so from now on, if we say either of those words, you're going to hear a bell. Sounds like this. So I'm going to type the words in the chat as I always do. Words of the week.
Words of the week.
And I'm going to just outright say them, which will cause the bells, which will cause the drinks. And remember, every time you hear that bell, not only do we drink, you drink too. Play along. So we have character. And console. I forgot the first one. I'm sorry. All right, so anyway, that's 2 drinks. Let's take a sip. Two sips, I should say.
Yeah, and I am drinking Trulies, as I always do.
I'm drinking Ninkasi Haze-Matic. Look pretty good. And I got another pumpkin beer. People have been releasing all these fall beers already. You know what I mean? And I'm loving it. I like as soon as I saw Oktoberfest on the shelves, I bought a sampler pack of it, or like a 12 pack of it. And then I found a sampler pack of different, I don't know, I can't remember which company it is, but they had like 4 different types of pumpkin beers, right? So I got that one. And then this one right here, I don't know, I think it's Dogfish Head? I don't know.
You just said that's Ninkasi.
No, the other pumpkin beer. I have a couple in the bag over there.
Okay.
But regardless,
we'll pull them out.
We got some drinks. Also, just let us know, like, what are you drinking? Either in the comment.
A.M. Gill said Japanese for fat Italians.
Well, why'd you hit the bell multiple times?
Because do you want me to say the word?
Country is not the word.
Oh, is it not?
The word's character and console.
Oh,
which
sorry.
you already hit the bell for, so.
I was going to drink anyways, but I thought country was the word.
You already hit 2
Why did I think country was the word?
I don't know. Because last week, that's kind of what happened. All right, so 2 more sips.
Okay. Anyways.
No, someone in chat asked, what does Nintendo mean? And I'll let you know what it possibly means in a sec here when we dive into this infotainment, my friends.
Yeah. I did a little bit of research.
Okay.
If it surprises you.
Can I ask what that means? Like what kind of research?
Like I went on Google.
And you did what?
And
what did you read exactly?
I read about the Game & Watch.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which
so when we get to that,
like, I guess the handheld.
It's like Tiger Games.
Nintendo.
Do you remember the Tiger Games?
Yeah.
Like baseball, where it would just be like the little symbols, and then like it would just light up different little symbols to kind of signify things. That's what Game & Watch is too. Same exact type of thing.
They said that's the first one that Nintendo made as a handheld.
You should have just said console, because that's one of the words. There you go. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, everyone. Anyway, Nintendo means American children with diabetes. No, that's not correct, okay? Nintendo these days means family, just like Vin Diesel.
I mean, wasn't it always like even when the first console came out, I mean, wasn't it to attract families to like play together? It wasn't like a solo playing type of deal.
Pretty much. We kind of have a lot to talk about today with this topic. You know what I mean? And we'll get as granular as we're all comfortable with. But what you can expect for today is we're going to talk about the history of specifically like Nintendo leading up to the Nintendo Entertainment System, which released in America in 1986, the year of my birth.
Oh, really?
Just so you know. Yeah, that's when it ended up in America.
It was first released in America.
In 1986.
In 1986.
Now we could get a little deeper into Nintendo stuff. Like we could talk Game Boy.
So when was it first released? At all?
I believe 1983. But that
so
was
when
sort of like
was
a
born.
Test market thing. Well, it started in Japan.
Okay.
But like, this is a little bit of a spoiler for what we're about to talk about. But I guess what we should do before we like get all shitty drunk is I'll just ask you, Mochi Squeeze, what is your experience with the Nintendo Entertainment Console? Or excuse me, the Nintendo Entertainment System. I just said that so that we would have to take another sip. You're welcome. That's right,
I didn't own one.
baby.
I believe my cousin owned one.
Okay.
I think it was his. My aunt bought it for them, which was fine because I was not really I'm not really a gamer. Back in the
No,
day, I was, and
definitely
even
not.
now, I'm not really.
Not a game.
I remember playing it with him, and it was Mario Brothers. I believe is what he had, and the Duck Hunt
Mm-hmm.
with the gun.
The
and
combination, yeah.
Yeah, and I liked the Duck Hunt one more than Mario. I felt because I felt like it was easier for me to play.
Right.
And that's really it. And I remember thinking that, and I remember my mom playing it with him.
Oh, really?
A lot. Yeah.
No way.
I do remember my mom playing it with my cousin a lot.
Huh. Nice.
And I always used to watch them play. So my favorite thing about the Nintendo system and in gaming in general is that I'm more of a watcher. Like, I enjoy watching people play video games more than I like to play myself. So that's really it. And I remember him always telling me that I have to blow the cartridges whenever it like pauses or something.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
And that was it. That was my first experience with the Nintendo console.
Nice.
And I said the Mario earlier.
How many times is that? 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you hit it again because you just said it again, right? Okay, that's 3. Everyone, I hope you're drinking along.
So, yeah.
Cafe JD in chat earlier said cheers. Cheers to you too.
Yes, I hope you're drinking with us.
I really hope so. What's up, see me bitch? We got the homie in chat.
Yeah.
How is it going? I think I have a new background for us. Are we ready? Here it comes. Swing.
Nice.
Just bring it up a little. Actually, wait. No, this is the wrong window. Let's do.
And I remember the
Let's do this
connection for
That
the
one.
Nintendo was quite different.
The connection? What do you mean?
Like, when you connect it to the TV, now it's all complicated. Before you just kind of unplugged like this weird wire on the back of your TV, and it was like a little box thing, and you just stuck it in there, and then that's it. And it was easy to carry around the console. It was easy to transport the console to different houses because it was like, it was easy, right? So. Now you got to do all this stuff, and I just don't even know. I'm like confused. I'm like,
it's actually more simple now, by the way, because all you do is plug in one thing and you don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, you had to plug in a coax cable, you know what I mean? Which meant you have to like screw something on, and the HDMI cables are just like you just plug it in,
I feel
it's just
like
on your TV you have to change inputs, whereas back then. You would set your TV to either channel 3 or channel 4, if you remember.
Okay, maybe that's what's
Oh, apparently we missed a ding. What's up, Miguel?
All right.
See me bitch asked me, Jacob, what does the 64 stand for in Nintendo 64? 64 bits. 64-bit.
Really?
Uh-huh. It's a 64-bit console, which means that it's like, higher resolution. It can handle like, more rendering, essentially. And Hero Jason said simpler times. Yeah, kind of simpler. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there wasn't really a TV video on TVs back then. You just switch the channel, so that's why it was swapped.
So maybe
to 3
that's
and 4.
why I feel like it's more complicated. Because I don't like having to guess what sort of input everything is plugged into. It's like so hard. I mean,
I get that, but at the same time, that's why I like, our Harmony remote. Because I have it set up so all you have to do is press buttons.
Yeah, but that even takes like instruction. Like you really need like fucking super instructions to use that. Because I remember
instructions.
Yeah, I remember trying to tell my mom how to use it when she was here, and she's like, I'm gonna watch on my phone because she didn't want to turn the TV on.
Yep. Well, back in the day, like if you wanted to play online, like on PC, you would have to tie up the phone line.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
no, I remember
Remember
because
those
I
days?
remember like
Because that was the internet. The internet was like you have to dial. Your
Yeah.
computer has to dial your friend's house, and then the computer has to pick up through a modem.
And I feel like the
All you
old,
young people, man, you don't know.
I feel like the
You don't
old, the Nintendo console, the first one, both controllers came with it. Like you didn't have
Yeah,
to buy
true.
a separate. Like it wasn't like,
Mhm.
oh, there's only one controller, and then now you gotta buy a fucking separate controller,
Right.
so so your friends could play. I'm like, what? Like I remember when they started doing that, and it was like,
Yeah.
huh? Like
Yeah, well, it's because you think of it this way, okay? These days, people aren't really couch co-oping. You know what I mean? Which means like people aren't sitting on the same couch and gaming. Like you're sitting on your own couch with your one controller, connected to the internet, playing with your friend sitting at his house with the same setup. So you don't
it
really
seems
need
more
two controllers.
lonely.
And not to mention like the NES's like little controller. If you look at it, it's just a rectangle, cheap ass plastic rectangle with like a really simple
Yeah, with a really
circuit
simple,
board in there.
yes.
So it didn't cost that much to like pack that in.
Which
You know what I
I
mean?
miss sometimes. I don't like this whole. I remember when they changed it and they introduced the joystick.
Who's they? You keep saying when they did this and when they did
the
that.
Nintendo people. When they.
I don't know if
when-
Nintendo is the one who came up with the first wireless controllers. I
No,
don't know
when
about
they
that one.
not wireless. I
know
don't
about
even care.
I
I
know
don't
about-
even care about wireless. Like what
Okay.
I care about is like when whoever introduced the joystick or the thingy, is that what they call it? The joystick on it. It's like the.
Yeah, it's called
What is
it's
it?
called this. You can call it a stick.
Okay,
like
the
a thumbstick.
The thumbstick.
Yeah.
I
That's
was
when it
like,
became
it
too
became
much.
like down. It was downhill from there for me. Like I didn't even want to play it anymore. I was like,
Mhm.
this is too confusing. It's too hard. I don't know. Like it was so. It was so hard to control.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
Well,
over it.
it
I
was-
think the last console I played
That's a bell. then
was
Grab me a beer too when you're
Super NES, I think.
Please, thank you. Super NES is one of my favorite consoles of all time. Super NES and PlayStation 1.
Because that's the gray one, right?
Woo.
With it's
Yeah.
a gray and purple.
Yeah, the purple. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you would have to like pull a thing
Yeah, to like that.
to do stuff.
Yeah, that was the last one, the last console that I really I really played, and then
Yeah.
after that I just I was like, I'm out. They introduced this weird thing on the controller, and I was just like, fuck it. I
Okay.
don't want to play anymore.
I do have. Dude, this conversation. There's so much I could say. For one, I do remember like my gaming journey and what it was like. But you're right. Yes, it got a little more difficult to control. But the more that us gamers kept playing, the better we got, and like it just evolved from there. I feel like gamers sort of evolved with the consoles, but it's definitely like less simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's
Now.
why I say like
You know
I'm
what I
not, I'm not a gamer at all because I stopped playing.
But there's so many
once, like-
there's so many layers to that too, though. Like the NES had a really simple controller that was cheap, right? That's what we've been talking about here. But there's still some of the hardest games ever created to this fucking day. Like I probably only beaten one Nintendo game ever.
I feel like the only
what I mean?
game that I beat, like
Yeah.
on my own,
Uh-huh.
was Donkey Kong Country.
Really?
The one where
You played through that game on your own?
I
Oh my
played
god, that's
through
one of my
that.
favorites.
I played through that, and
Yeah.
it was
Super
fun.
Nintendo
And
is
that's the only
incredible.
thing. That's the only one that I really, really tried to play. I don't know how I did that. I mean, like, I did. Like, I would play that with my cousins too,
Okay, yeah.
right?
So not on your own.
No, but that's like if we like did some 2-player ones, but I had my own one where I did it on my
Oh,
own.
like your own save file.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So like, but it took a lot of time.
Mhm.
and
Oh,
I
yeah.
was there were some hard stuff that I had to ask. I had to like watch my cousin Jeff play it and
Let
then
me-
be like, "Wait, how did you beat this thing?"
Let me
'Cause,
ask you.
like,
Can I ask you a question? And it's a very specific question,
Uh-huh.
and I just need a yes or no. Do you remember the mine carts?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Yes. God damn those.
I feel
fucking
like that was
minecart
my
levels.
favorite, but
hated those minecart
I
levels.
loved it, but it was also really hard.
They were, dude. Those minecart levels are some of the worst.
I think there was
levels
one
ever.
one minecart
childhood.
level where like I did have to
Yeah.
ask my cousin about it,
Can
like
you
how
please-
he.
Wait, did he beat it for you, or did you do it yourself?
No, I asked him how he beat it.
Really? Because there's a moment in one of the minecart levels where like you have to jump super late, and you think like I'll never make it, but you have to jump really late, and it's the only way you'll jump over this
Mhm.
other minecart that's on the edge of another of the jump. You know, so if you jump early, you'll always land on the minecart, and then you'll die.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It was like
I don't know if you guys remember that. Donkey Kong Country is one of my favorite franchises ever, dude.
Yeah,
my sister and I played the shit out of those games.
I remember like thinking I was so cool
This other beer.
because I found like there's that the beginning level where like you start to go, right? Yeah, it's like, okay, game starting, you're going, but then like you could go back into the house and get a whole
Mhm.
bunch of bananas.
Mhm.
And I was like,
There
I
was
felt
a-
like I was the only one that knew that, even though like
That's amazing.
I'm sure everyone figured it out.
Yeah.
And then every time a new person would come
Right.
to play, I would be like, "Oh, you could like go in the house and get bananas and stuff."
Look at you. You're like a pro gamer.
Yeah, no, but that was the
You're, like,
last.
telling
that
people-
was the last one. That was the last one, man.
It doesn't have to be. Mochi Squeeze. It doesn't have to be. Right on, man. Well, this was fun bullshitting about random Nintendo things.
But what about okay? So
but
you
by the
asked
way-
me. But what about you? What's your first? What do you remember?
all I want to say is, by the way, if you do go back in your house in Donkey Kong Country, you actually find a balloon,
Oh yeah.
which is a 1-up. And then there's actually a cave right underneath where the bananas are supposed to be, right underneath Donkey Kong's house. That's a
Mhm.
bell. And like you go in there at the beginning of the game, and like the plot of the game is that all your bananas were stolen, right? So it's empty. But as you play through the game, it starts to fill up every time you come back to it. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Pretty cool. Anyway, Miguel said that didn't sound that didn't sound condescending.
I
I'm
didn't
not
know
exactly
what
sure
it was.
what I said, but I feel like maybe
It could have also been me. I don't know.
Maybe it was you. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know, but it happens.
it happens.
does happen.
It does happen.
I don't know how far behind they are as to
But
what's
okay,
happening.
so
live.
what's your? I told
No,
you
okay,
what
so
my
for-
first.
I'll tell you my first Nintendo experience ever. Okay, I'm a little kid. All right, I had already gone. I have a memory of going with. I don't think it was my dad at all, because at this time, my parents were already split up. I think they had split up. I don't know what age I was, but I was really young. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so like, at this point I like barely knew my dad at all. But I do remember I have a weird, like really old memory of going to some kind of family friend's house in like a den or something, and they had an
Mhm.
Atari, and I thought it was really cool. I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" And they were playing some kind of Atari game. And it's just such a old, like I was like 2 years old type of memory. You know what I mean? Like really young. But when I was 3, and I always remember it as me being 3, right?
Mhm.
For Christmas, my sister Jessie, she got a Nintendo, and I for some reason I remember it being my uncle Gabe who bought it for her.
Mhm.
That could be incorrect, but that was a thing. Regardless, Jessie got an NES for Christmas, and I loved it. You know what I mean? Like, I know for sure it came with the Mario.
A Nintendo, the
Yeah, we're talking
the
about Nintendo Entertainment System. So this is the one that came out in '86. We got it in 1990, I believe. Yes, hit the bell. So yeah, we got it for Christmas, and then of course it came with the Mario Duck Hunt's combination cartridge with the light gun. I'm not sure if we got any other games with it. Can you hit the bell again? Because I said a character. Yeah, so we had that and we played the shit out of it, but like I can't really remember what happened after that besides like just summarizing like what essentially happened was my sister and I played it a lot, but then I played it the most, you know. And I want to be really good at it.
Why did your uncle want to buy it for Jessie?
I don't know, because she was older. Because I was 3 and she was 6.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm a little 3-year-old. I'm not going to play games. But guess what? This motherfucker played games, baby. And I tried to get good, but I was a really little kid. So I was like not very good at anything.
Yeah. And the chat is saying the condescending remark was when you said that I'm a pro gamer.
Oh, you're a pro gamer.
And
no, I wasn't being condescending at all. I was saying like,
I'm just used to him talking like that, so I didn't think that it was condescending.
I wasn't being condescending. I was saying, like, look at you. You could have taken the path of being, like, the gamer who tells people, shit. You could have been a pro gamer by now.
But I chose not to.
I'm not,
that was not my path.
So I wasn't being condescending. I was just saying, wow, that's surprising because Mochi Squeeze is, like, the least gamer person in my life.
True. I don't play anything with
I'm just like, hey, maybe you could do this, or hey, maybe you could try this game, and she goes, and then she'll sit there and watch like the worst Netflix show of all time for like fucking 12 hours straight.
We're not gonna get into it, but
I'm just saying.
Besides that,
I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying she could easily keep gaming. That's all I'm trying to.
So
I'm just trying to drive that home.
Boxcar Miguel said. Boxcar Miguel said, my mom got me an Atari instead of a Nintendo because it was cheaper.
And people told her it was the same thing. Yeah, I get that. Because technically it's a console, right?
I didn't even know. I'm going to be honest. When I was younger and when we had when my cousin got the Nintendo, that's all I thought there was out there. I didn't even know there was an Atari. I didn't even know what Atari was until I want to say until I was a teenager, and then people were talking about like the Atari, and I'm like, what the fuck is what is that? And then everyone was like, oh yeah, back in the day it was like Atari versus Nintendo, and I'm like,
kind of, and we'll get into it in a second here, but. We're just a little too young to like have known about really what Atari was, but if we were like 5 years older each or whatever,
well, so
we
what
might
came
be
out
into it.
Okay,
so you're gonna start asking me questions, and I think that it's the perfect time to not ask questions and to just jump right into the infotainment section and just kind of talk about the history of Nintendo. You ready to do that? Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, cool. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Are you guys buckle up? Buckle up. I'll ask you this question. Everyone.
Are you going to make it interesting?
Of course I am.
If you're just going to read something, then you should do it with a voice.
You want me to do the Mario voice the whole time?
I mean, maybe.
It's me.
Maybe.
Jakio.
I mean, maybe to make it more interesting.
Dude,
also,
Atari is great. I'm not saying it's bad.
I don't think I've ever played an Atari. I've never played Atari.
Well, we could play fucking...
Is an Atari like just one game, or is it
No, it's a console. And hit the bell.
So there were multiple games on this Atari.
What sunk the Atari is too many shitty games. There's a lot of Atari games. And then like the other day how I went, and I didn't get to talk about this on any of the podcasts because I forgot about it. We went to some stores. I went with some nerdy friends of mine from work, and we went to this retro gaming store amongst other stores, and they had like all sorts of old ass console stuff in there and games from every fucking console you can think of. Atari was in there, Nintendo was in there, stuff after that, stuff before that. There was stuff. It's still in the box. Even it was incredible.
Did the Atari
but there's so many Atari games.
That's like cartridges?
Yes.
Oh.
Why'd you hit the bell? Cartridge isn't the word.
Oh, I don't know. I thought we said a word.
No, now you're gonna have to
My
drink.
bad.
You're gonna have to drink alone
My
for
bad.
that one.
My bad.
Nobody, please just strike the last bell from the record. This is a bonus drink. All right, 2 more sips.
Okay. So, okay, go on. We probably need to have a second episode just on the Atari because I don't know anything about that.
I would love to do an Odd Valley series where we talk about video games, and you know I would. And by the way,
you already got that podcast. You already got.
No, I know, but you're talking about Atari, and then you're gonna be like, well, then let's do an episode on Sega. You know what I mean? And then
No, I
it's
didn't
gonna
say
keep going.
let's do an episode
keep
on
going.
Sega.
Why would you not care about Sonic the Hedgehog?
I don't care about him. Thank you. Even though
That's
did
fucked
have.
up. You're telling me you don't want to go fast.
Even though I did have the
This is
I did have
bullshit.
the handheld Sega. What do you call it? I don't know what it was called.
Oh no. All I can think is Master System, and that's not correct.
I had the
Game Gear.
Yeah, I had that.
I know I
And
got it
then I
before the
remember
chat
I
saw
had-
it happen.
I remember I had Sonic, and I had Echo,
Ooh.
and I did not know how to play Echo. I just thought it was cute because it was a dolphin.
It's a dolphin.
But you know,
Dude. That's the name. Echo Sock. The name the name of the Alexa on this is that dolphin's name. Whatever. I'm not gonna say it. Let's
but
just
we're
move
not
on.
gonna.
Okay.
We're not talking about the Sega, so we're gonna skip him.
All right, you ready? Are you ready for me to talk for a sec?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Before I even get into it, I'm gonna ask.
And the Lion King game. Is
Well,
that
that's a
bell?
fucking character, you asshole.
Fuck. Yes, I do remember. Yes, you're right, Kate. Damn it, Run. You're right.
Great game. By the way. Okay, so I'm going to ask not the chat because chat can easily Google this. It might even know the answer. But Mochi Squeeze, when was Nintendo founded? What year? Just give me the year.
Well,
Wild guess.
if the
Wild guess.
first one came out in Japan in 83,
Yeah.
I'm going to say 80.
1980?
Yeah, 1980.
All right. Actually, it's 1889. Thank you, K. Damn It Run. That is correct.
Oh.
And I asked you
Wow.
to not say the year in the chat, but she still got it wrong. So it's
But
okay.
I didn't see it.
I'll let it
That
go.
came in after.
Yes, Nintendo actually was founded
Wow.
in 1889 as
Wow.
Nintendo Karuta by craftsman Fusajiro Yamaichi and originally produced handmade Hanafuda playing cards.
Wait, 1889?
Correct. So
Did they have like? So was it?
Uh-huh.
I know this is
What?
gonna sound really. I know this is gonna sound really dumb, and it's gonna make me sound
Wait, what?
really stupid, but that's fine.
Sorry
But,
guys, I screwed the background up. There we go.
1889. Did they even like have like electricity back then?
Yes, they sure did. If you had played Red Dead Redemption 2,
Like-
you would know that even in the cowboy world,
Like real
electricity was
did
happening.
They have like a TV back then?
let me ask you a question. Hold on.
Did they
Let me
have
ask you a
TV?
question. What year do you think fucking Ben Franklin died? Because that's the guy who like discovered electricity, remember? You know, with the key and the kite and stuff. I mean, think about okay, let me ask you a question, actually, a real question.
No, but it
When
could've-
when was the fucking Revolutionary War? What year?
No, we can't talk about
What
this.
year was
We
the
can't-
Revolutionary
We
War?
can't talk about history. That's not
Are
the
you
topic.
serious?
That's not the topic.
Just
right
give
now.
me a year. Revolutionary
It is
War.
not the topic right now.
All right. It was
I was going.
Listen, 1776.
I was going.
And Ben
to
Franklin was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was gonna say like
Shit.
Ben Franklin could have invented electricity, but then like it took a while to like roll it out to the public, and have people
Right.
like have
Absolutely.
electricity everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. It
Over
could have
100 years before Nintendo was founded, electricity was found. Right? And Boxcar Miguel said, don't forget about Tesla. I know. Tesla should have been the guy.
Or
Tesla didn't
like,
fucking electrocute an elephant like asshole fucking Edison. You know what I mean?
Did he do that?
Yes, he did. He did it to try to like show that Tesla's electricity form was bullshit.
Hurt people?
Yeah, but it was like just a dumb publicity stunt. And Tesla, if essentially if Tesla had won that, we'd be in a completely alternate dimension, like almost like a steampunk style dimension.
Almost like
almost like BioShock
won over Blu-ray.
No. This is
Just
bigger
kidding.
than that.
This
is bigger than that because like the what is it? The AC current, I believe, is what Edison went with, which is what we still use today, is way less efficient than what Tesla was fucking with the DC current.
Okay, well, anyways, besides that, what I was saying when I said about the electricity
I know
thing,
something.
It's because I was like thinking maybe it was not rolled out to the regular common man at that time, so that's why I was surprised.
You're still thinking about this the wrong way because, like I said before,
was it a console?
Like I said before, Nintendo was founded in 1889 as Nintendo Karuta by craftsman Fusajiro Yamauchi and originally produced handmade Hanafuda playing cards.
Oh.
If you had listened to the end of that sentence, you would have heard that playing cards has nothing to do with electricity. Besides maybe
no, it doesn't.
Maybe they need electricity to like print them or something, manufacture them.
No one needs electricity to print
but
them.
not to enjoy them.
Okay. Fine. They were playing cards. Okay.
Correct.
So what kind of? So they were just cards.
They were
Hanafuda.
They were Hanafuda cards, which are these things. So let me click on this image here. So you see these things here?
Oh, those are so cute. There's one
gorgeous.
with like a little deer on it.
Yeah. So
and the flower, and then there's a guy holding an umbrella.
Correct. Sorry.
We could totally get. I would probably get a tattoo of one of these panels.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe the one with the.
There's way more.
Sun?
Don't resign to any of these because there's so many more than this, and they all look cool as shit. So Hanafuda cards are a style of Japanese playing cards. They're typically smaller than Western playing cards, aka the normal cards that we all know. They're thicker but stiffer.
That's what she said.
They're thicker and stiffer. It says, on the face of each card is a depiction of plants, tanzaku, animals, birds, or man-made objects. Now, I don't know what the fuck tanzaku means, but I'm assuming it means like
any weeds out there. You guys should know. No
art.
If you could tell us. It's okay. We love.
How about we
weeds.
just search Google for hanzaku? Wait.
I don't know where you're at, but that doesn't look like
Tanzaku.
Google. I know.
Oh yeah, see, it's like it's okay. So if you didn't know, Japan has like a shit ton of festivals. Like, we have like holidays in America, right? Like 4th of July and stuff. In Japan, it's all festivals, right? And there's a ton of them, and they're all really interesting and cool. But Tanzaku, or I guess a little piece of paper. Let's move on.
You just move on.
This is where Nintendo started. This is where Nintendo started.
Is
making those things.
Yes,
I just wanted to build a little bit of context to it. Hanafuda, usually cards are usually like you're playing either like a game called like Mochi Mochi or like Koki Koki or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Koki Koki. That was a
Koki Kochi or Mochi Kochi.
Okay,
something like that.
So we're doing this card. So it was a card game at first.
Where's the game? I read this earlier. I just can't really remember, and I didn't write notes. But regardless, they weren't like.
If exotic shuffling was like a thing, I think people would like totally go for it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get exotic with it. Anyway, okay. That's how Nintendo started. They started making Hanafuda cards. Not even Western cards, like the regular, like with King, Queen, and the numbers and stuff. They didn't even make those fucking things.
Okay.
But the thing that's interesting about Japan is that Hanafuda cards were fine. You could have those everywhere. And those were like basically the home playing cards for normal people, like, just for families and stuff. But like they didn't like Western cards because they saw Western cards as just being for gambling.
Oh, okay.
Right? Which kind of makes sense, poker and stuff.
Mm-hmm,
but there's plenty of other games out there. Like Go Fish started as a regular card deck thing, and just about every card game, in existence, doesn't mean that it's like a gambling thing, but like because of the Yakuza and everything, like they had a problem with gambling in Japan. They just don't like gambling. Like gambling is an issue. For some reason, they've set like these days they've settled on pachinko as not being gambling, and there's so much to that. It's like weird as fuck. But
I don't know that. Boxcar Miguel said coochie copy.
Coochie Kopi. There's one that's called like Ochi Ochi or something like that.
That
or
sounds dirty.
Mochi Kochi or something like that.
Like
I don't know. I'm
mean,
sorry,
he's
but
talking about a vagina.
I'm not talking about vagina myself.
Coochie
But
copy.
Uh-huh.
Coochie's a vagina.
Okay. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong. Here we go. This is the one I was reading earlier. Hanafuda. What are the games? What are the fucking games?
I don't know.
What are the name of the games? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're making these Hanafuda cards, and then at some point they're like, okay, we need to do more, right? And so they partner up with Disney, because everybody knows Disney. Even in Japan knew about Disney back then. That's not one of the fucking words.
Fuck!
Do you not remember? What's the words? Look at me and tell me what the words are. It's console and character. Hit the bell twice, and you take 3 drinks.
Fine.
Because you keep hitting the bell every time I say Japan or America, which is not correct.
Okay. Okay, we need to. So they decide to. They're
No.
Come on.
So basically, like they wanted to get more out of their card market, right?
Okay.
Because they're starting to decline, and they're thinking like, how do we bring Western cards to Japan? Well, they partner up with Disney, and they put Disney characters on Western style cards. Like, remember, Western style is just regular old cards that we know, just a normal deck of cards. So they put Disney stuff all over it to assure the Japanese public, hey, it's not gambling. It's for the public. You know, it's for kids can use these.
Okay.
Right?
Fine.
So like they literally you know, signed a deal with Disney to put their shit on there, and then they made a bunch of money. Right?
So
they're
then
like,
why
oh wow,
doesn't
it's a lot of
Nintendo
success.
belong with Disney now? Why isn't Mario Land being built at Disneyland?
I don't know. Because this was in like 1959.
Okay,
This was a
well,
long time ago, and it was only when they were. I mean, is Nintendo still making cards? No, they're not. Hand me another beer, please.
okay. So then let's move on from the cards. What happens next? How do they become like
Well, because
Nintendo that we know now?
they said that the tie-in was a success, and the company sold at least 600,000 card packs in a single year in Japan. And Japan's a pretty small country. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to think, that's a lot of fucking cards.
Did you not pack any of your beers, really?
There's a ton of beers in there. They're on the left. Excuse me, guys. So it said, I'm using Wikipedia here. Due to this success, in 1962, Yamauchi, who, was the person, Hiroshi Yamauchi, who is the guy who, I'm sorry. Yes, excuse me. Hiroshi Yamauchi, all right? He took Nintendo public in 1962 in the Osaka Stock Exchange second division, right? So they weren't even a public company at the time. And then they renamed the company at the time Nintendo Playing Card Company Limited in 1963, right? So then they basically went from cards, because cards were starting to decline, to start making toys. And that's why I put toy on the board.
Okay.
The toys were really interesting. In 1966, Yamauchi, who is the president of Nintendo, he visits one of the Hanafuda factories, right? They're still making these cards. And he notices that an engineer named Gunpei Yokoi.
Oh, there's his picture. What happened
yep.
to his picture? Okay, fine. Okay, we know what he looks like.
Gunpei Yokoi
Uh-huh.
is doing some stuff. You know what I mean? So he basically he's like, oh, this guy's got some ideas, so let's throw him in R&D. You know what I mean? Research and development and stuff. So then he developed what's called the Ultra Hand.
Oh.
Check this thing out. Okay, this is a tiny ass picture, and I can't even zoom in on it.
Okay.
But it's basically like, do you know the gopher?
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm talking about? Like
Yes.
the long hand,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He made a toy version of that.
Okay.
He called it the Ultra Hand.
Okay.
It's
okay, got it.
Wikipedia says it became one of the Nintendo's earliest toy blockbusters, selling over hundreds of thousands of units. So then he was like, "All right, Yokoi, you're the man, dude."
Okay.
So then he just puts this guy to work. We have the 10 billion barrel puzzle, which yeah, hold on. That was an accident. Let's go back over here. I have a video of it over here. So Mochi, what do you think about these toys? While I search for this video.
Well, I mean, I guess back in those days it was like cool, but now it's just boring.
Wait, so you wouldn't want an Ultra Hand?
No,
Is that what I'm hearing?
it doesn't sound fun.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
I'm looking for this thing, this video of this thing. He created this thing called the 10 billion barrel puzzle, which is basically a mathematical Rubik's Cube.
Also sounds boring. Absolutely boring.
All right.
I'd never do any of those.
Really?
The Rubik's Cube was like, I already thought the Rubik's Cube was like, I mean, we had one, but
I'm gonna put this
it was
video
so
of this
hard
guy
to,
like
like,
solving the 10 billion barrel puzzle in the background while we talk about these toys. He also made the Ultra Machine, which is literally like a
guess
batting.
what? Whoever's hand this is, they have some hairy fingers.
I'm just looking at that ring and like how it's.
That's all I could think about. This guy has hairy fingers.
I see a little bit of. I don't know. I feel like his fingers are a little.
I mean,
too
I feel
thick
like
for that
this
ring.
is a puzzle that you guys like. I feel like this is a puzzle that you guys would like want to try to figure out. And I look at this puzzle and think, I don't even care.
I don't know what's happening, but this is this guy doing it. So anyway, he also made the Ultra Machine and a love tester. And the Ultra Machine was a batting cage like ball shooter, basically.
Okay.
Right? And I think you hit it with like a plastic bat or something. And then a love tester, which you know those, right? You hold on to the thing and it tells you how
it's
lovely
a
you are.
mood ring. Yeah, see, Kate Damon Run, you're right. You need to get that ring. It's a mood ring.
You said, forget unlocking the puzzle. Show me getting that ring off. I know. It really looks like it's very snug on there. Nintendo released the first solar powered light gun, the Nintendo Beam Gun, in 1970. This is the first commercially available light gun for home use, produced in partnership with Sharp, which you know Sharp, man.
Yeah,
Know
they
about
used
Sharp?
to make TVs.
And printers and stuff. Yeah, so they also made the Ella Conga, one of the first programmable drum machines. Isn't that crazy? What do you think?
That
Cool.
is crazy. I'm distracted by how he
Are you
tried to
enjoying
solve
this? I'm trying to
No.
show
So
a
then
picture.
he did
I'm
toys.
going to show a picture
and
of this
then
Ella Conga. Here.
What else did he? So he did toys, and then
Here we go. See the Ella Congo? It's right above Mochi Squeeze. You can basically take a punch card, like feed it through this thing somehow, and it would like play beats, and you could actually like program the beats yourself.
oh,
So there you go.
okay,
Ella Conga.
okay.
So Gunpei Yokoi is just making all these toys and having a good old time, you know, and they're just loving it. People are buying all their toys and all their bullshit.
In
And then-
Japan.
Yeah, it's all in Japan. Yes.
Okay.
So then we get the first commercially available video game console in 1972, the Magnavox Odyssey.
This is a console.
Yeah. Yep. And it has a light gun accessory, the shooting gallery. This is the first involvement of Nintendo in video games. According to Martin Picard in the International Journal of Computer Game Research, in 1971, Nintendo had, even before the marketing of the first home console in the United States, an alliance with the American pioneer Magnavox to develop and produce optoelectric guns for the Odyssey, since it was similar to what Nintendo was able to offer in the Japanese toy market in the 70s. So like Nintendo's already making light guns, just for like their sort of toys things, but Magnavox, had been making this console. Nintendo was manufacturing their light gun, and when I say light gun, it's the same thing that you were talking about earlier with Duck Hunt.
Yeah,
Right?
that was
the
pretty
red
cool.
the red gun that you'd point at your TV.
I feel like
and it
it
would
was
shoot.
more like an orange and gray gun.
Orangish, yeah, sure, reddish, I guess, more orange.
But that thing was.
Nintendo was basically the guy that Magnavox looked to make their light gun for their console, and he hit the bell. I guess I think you missed a couple bells, but I
Did
took
I?
three
No, I feel
sips
like I
because we said the
didn't.
C word like a bunch of times. Regardless, and I know that's my favorite word.
That is your favorite word.
They did create, after that, what's called the Laser Clay Shooting System. It's a light gun shooting simulation game created by Nintendo in '73. Consisted of an overhead projector which displayed moving targets behind a background.
Oh yeah, they tried to do that. That was like the secondary thing you could do with Duck Hunt, where it was like the clay discs, and I always
Right.
thought that was so stupid.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so boring. It's so much fun when you're trying to kill like live things, which
Yeah.
is
I
kind
wanna
of
kill a real duck.
psychotic if you think
Let
about
me
it.
shoot a duck.
Like, why would you want that instead of shooting like a clay discs, which people do in real life? I mean,
True.
and I feel like I would try that. That looks like fun.
Then in 1974, they made their first arcade game, Ever Race. And this is sort of when, Magnavox makes the first console, which Nintendo manufactures and that's just according to Wiki. They manufacture a light gun for that, and they're like, wait, why don't we make like an arcade cabinet? And then so they create this thing called the Ever Race, which looks like this. And just take a look at this thing, and it's not really that big. Oh, that's that guy again. He's still solving that.
trying to solve that.
So here's the Ever Race. It was like a massive horse racing cabinet with it looked like multiple different races were happening at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure how you play it or what it really did. But it's really interesting that that was their first actual thing that wasn't like a toy essentially, or like an accessory for something that they had created, which I just found that very interesting. And then in 1975 and 1977, they released the Color TV Game 6 and Color TV Game 15, which are both two different consoles, and they were developed with Mitsubishi, right?
Oh.
So they're over here,
The car?
yeah, Mitsubishi Electric. It's the same
Okay.
company.
Okay.
And the difference between the 6 and the 15 is just how
I
many.
remember my older
games
cousin working
were on there.
for Mitsubishi one time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what he did.
Can you hit the bell?
But we don't care about
Cool.
that guy. So
Probably
we don't
not
talk
in
about
the
it.
70s though, right?
No, definitely not in the 70s. I think that guy was still in the Philippines.
So the only difference between the 6 and the 15 is that's how many games. You know what I mean? So the 15 just had more
Or was it Panasonic?
games.
I can't remember.
And this is back in the 70s when Pong existed. Pong wasn't an arcade game first. It was a fucking thing that you could buy. You know what I mean? You plug it into your TV and now you're playing Pong. With 2-player Pong, right?
Yeah.
So this is when games or consoles started to kind of come up, right? Nintendo is over here making a couple, and I believe Atari's not far behind, already kind of making their own stuff, which we'll just quickly look up. Atari first console, the 2600.
But Atari was the one that just had the stick.
Yeah, so if
The
you look
stick and the dot.
I'm going to pull up a picture right here. So this is what it looked like. It was, you see what I mean? Really simple. It had a couple knobs on it. You plug the cartridge into the middle there. And then this is what the controller looked like. It was a joystick with a button.
Oh.
Right? So multi-directional movement,
I wouldn't have liked that.
but one button. You
I
know what I
wouldn't
mean?
have been into
So
that.
it's if it's a shooting
been
game, you
done.
press a button to shoot. If it's an adventure game, you press the button to attack
So
or
then
something.
they couldn't
And that's
do
it.
anything
That's all it was.
they couldn't do anything like how they had Mario jumping around everywhere.
Well,
with
how could you not jump around with this, right? You move around with the joystick and you jump with the button. But that's just one button. That's all you do is just jump. That's it. Or like a game where you shoot things, right? You move around with the stick and you press the button and it shoots, right? Just only one button and a joystick. That's what the 2600 looked like.
No, so I feel
that's
like
how it
later
worked.
on in the game,
Hit the bell like 4 times because I think that's
later on
probably
in
good.
the console game, they kind of ripped off Atari. Then
Hit it a
with
couple
their
more times.
little-
And everyone just drink 5 times and
With
I think we're
their-
good.
So I feel like Atari got the shit end of the stick on this.
Not really. They were just kind of the first big commercial success with the home market like that. But like this console came out in 1977, right? And bringing it back to Nintendo, this is the time between 72 and 75, I believe 75 and 77 is when they released
But
their
was Atari
their
made
stuff.
in Japan also?
No. Atari is an American company, right?
So it came out in America in 1972.
77.
77.
Yeah. And like when that happened, it like created a fucking massive cascading effect where there was just a ton of different companies coming out with their own Atari, basically, with their own shitty little shit games.
Yikes.
That like you could,
Sorry,
you know what I
America.
mean? So like think of it this way, right? Atari comes out and people are like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. You could play Pac-Man, or whatever."
Did they have
game."
Pac-Man on that?
Yeah, I think there was a Pac-Man port, but I don't.
Wait.
I don't know. I don't know if Pac-Man
Was
came out
Pac-Man
first.
from Atari first?
No, Pac-Man's from Namco, dude.
Okay. So
Ugh.
then
See what I mean?
let's not talk about it.
There's just
We're
a
only
lot of
talking
research
about
that goes.
Nintendo.
No,
We're
see,
only
Pac-Man came out in 1980, but in 1980, Atari had already been out for 3 years. Pac-Man blew up, and then they came out with a port for the Atari, right? And it was shitty. Everyone fucking hated the port. But they still bought it, and they still loved it because it was the closest thing you could do other than going to the arcade by your house to put quarters in to play Pac-Man.
Oh, Boxcar
Does that make sense?
Miguel said Pac-Man is on Atari.
No, yeah. See, and it's okay. That's the point. It's not very good. It's a bad port of the game. That's what I'm trying to say. So what? Like, I'm not saying Atari is like the worst console or anything like that. Atari is like a big deal, And there's some bangers on there. There's Joust. You know what I mean? And there's other ones.
Atari and
Adventure.
Pitfall and
Yeah, Pitfall, Missile Command. Those are good ones too. Atari had some good games. It's just the problem with Atari is that like there was maybe hold on. There's like maybe 8 good games, but then there's like 100 other shitty games. Right? So parents don't know what's going on. They're just buying whatever. And so like essentially they're just being flooded with all these Atari games that are like shitty. And then there's other consoles being released that are trying to be the Atari, and they're pumping out shitty games. Before you know, the entire console market is just a bunch of cheap, dumb bullshit that everyone hates, right? And that leads us to Nintendo. And I'm going to drink like 5 times.
So then Nintendo came out to try to compete with Atari. Is that what happened?
Adventure for sure should be mentioned for Atari, and E.T. is the worst game of all time. And yes, they were buried in the desert, and yes, they actually did dig them up and find that was actually true.
What?
Yeah, no.
What? Wait, what?
You don't know this
No,
story?
what?
Okay, I'll tell you this story really quick.
Time out.
I'll tell you this story really quick. Okay, so E.T. the movie came out. They wanted to make a tie-in game for E.T., right? And so they made this really shitty-ass E.T. game. They released it. It was really bad. Almost, like some people bought it, but most people hated it. And so then Atari just had a shit ton of copies of E.T. in a warehouse. And they're like, no one's going to buy this game. It's the worst game of all time. So then they took it into the desert and dug a big-ass hole and just dumped E.T. cartridges in the desert and then buried it, right? But then that became a massive urban legend, right? Because everybody said, oh, E.T.'s so bad they buried a bunch in the desert. And that's been a thing forever, right? Where people have always said like, oh, that's just an urban legend. But recently-ish, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little more recent than that, I don't know, they actually dug them up, and it was true. There was a shit ton of ET cartridges dug in the desert for real.
I thought that you meant like the real ET.
No, but I'm saying it's a crazy story. I digress. So
I thought you meant they buried the real ET.
Let's jump back into what Wikipedia says.
Wow.
And then
I totally got that wrong.
In the early 1980s, Nintendo's video game division, led by Yokoi, this is that same guy, right?
With the ring.
No, not... The guy with the ring is just a guy who's solving the puzzle, which, by the way, he's still solving it.
Okay.
He's still solving the puzzle. I'm just going to close that window.
Okay, not the guy with the ring.
No, Yokoi's the guy who made the grabby hand, the ultra hand.
Oh,
right?
the one
He's the same
with the
guy.
yes.
This is the same guy. He's like their main fucking guy.
Okay, the main
right? He's
guy.
Like making everything.
Guy.
He's making all this stuff.
Right. Okay.
You know, he's a brilliant engineer. So in the early 1980s, the game division, led by that guy, made some of its most famous arcade machines. The massively popular Donkey Kong was designed by Shigeru Miyamoto and released in arcades in 1981.
It was an arcade game first.
Wow. It is an arcade game. The game that has the title Donkey Kong is an arcade game. And you play as Jumpman, who is basically the proto Mario. Hit the bell 2 more times. 1 more time. There you go.
Oh, the one with the ladder when like he has to go through the thing and jump off over the barrels and then come up there and then like okay.
There's actually kind of an interesting story about that game, and we'll just quickly pause our little story about Nintendo and talk about these two things. Shigeru Miyamoto, born in November 16th, 1952, is a Japanese video game designer, producer, and game director at Nintendo, where he serves as one of its representative directors. Widely regarded as one of the most accomplished and influential designers in the history of video games. He's the creator of some of the most acclaimed and best-selling game franchises of all time, including, are you ready? Get ready to hit the bell. Here we go. Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, Star Fox, and Pikmin.
5.
He's created all of those franchises from his own brain.
Okay.
This beer is so good. He's a brilliant guy. I fucking love him. Miyamoto, if he ever dies, I'll be very fucking sad. And I think every gamer will. But look upon this genius.
That's how you're trying to do your hair.
And you know what I mean? Look upon this genius and know that without him you would not have a Italian plumber that sounds like this. Hey, it's me, Mario.
Well, you fucking
playing my
said
game.
it anyways. I hate you.
He's a great human being, and apparently he would like to explore the caves behind his house, and that's what gave him the idea for The Legend of Zelda. And that's a bell.
My fucking
How many is that? 3?
Guts.
3. And hand me another beer, please. And the story of DK, and I don't want to count that as a bell. You know what I mean? They essentially created a game that didn't work. You know what I mean? Let's see. Following the 1980s space panic. What? That's not the right thing. Basically, I'm just looking for the name of it. But like Nintendo had made an arcade game called like Sonic Thing or like View Blaster, you know what I mean? It's like a name like that or something. It's like scanner waves, you know?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Nintendo
I know in space. Singer Bro came to save you.
Great. What I'm trying to, that's not the name of the game.
Oh.
But what I'm trying to say is that
Oh,
Nintendo created a arcade game that they thought would kill because Space Invaders was huge at the time, right? Everybody's like, "Oh shit, Space
And
Invaders!
who
This
made
is the best
Space
arcade
Invaders?
game of all time." Atari.
Oh, look at this.
That's correct.
Look at this.
So Nintendo's like, "Let's make our own Space Invaders," and they call it like Scanner Blasters or some bullshit like that. And that's not the name. Okay, I can't find it in my research. Relax. But it didn't work, right? And so then they took the same chip, right? They took the same exact arcade cabinet, and they're like, all right, let's make this more interesting. And so Shigeru Miyamoto decided to use the same assets, the same technology,
Okay.
modify it, and put characters in there. Because he's like, well, people like characters. They, and at the time, Popeye was like the fucking most popular cartoon in the world, right? They're like, why do people like Popeye? Oh, that's because of olive oil. That's because of what's the name of the bad guy from that?
I'm not saying it.
Just say it. Come on.
No, because I don't
Just
know what
say
his name.
it.
I don't know what his name is.
Fuck. Well, it's, you know what I mean? But they're saying like people like cartoons because of the characters. Okay? So we need to have our own fucking characters. Right? And so then they essentially essentially created a circuit board that they could take this old arcade cabinet, install the circuit board on top of it, and it transformed it into, you guessed it, Donkey Kong. And how did they create the idea of that guy? Well, they were like really into King Kong at the time. And they wanted to figure out how to like make it work, right? So like they looked up the Japanese word for like dumbass, basically, translated to the word donkey, and they just kept using the word Kong because they like King Kong.
I'm not gonna even hit the bell for that.
Okay, how
Because
many
that
do I
doesn't
owe?
even count.
How many do I owe?
You owe like 7.
Okay. So anyway, that's how we get that game, which was a massive fucking hit. It was massive. That put them on the map as game developers, essentially. So
Don't worry.
that's where we're at.
Kate, Tavern, Run. I'm not gonna be drinking this much when we go down there, but definitely when we go to Protocol, you're gonna have to drink some beer with me.
All right, 4 more. So anyway, so all that shit's working out, right? They start making all sorts of other games, Ice Climbers, Donkey Kong Jr.
I hate you. I hate you with a passion right now. Did you even finish? Did you drink your 6?
I know I owe 2
Drink
more.
your
Hit the bell 2 more
fucking 6.
times.
Did you drink
All right.
your 6?
Here comes another 5.
Fuck.
That's another 5. So they make all these games. It works out. And then they're like, okay, we don't want to make arcade games anymore because we want to make a home console. You know what I mean? So then they leave the Japan Amusement Machinery Manufacturers Association, which is actually called JAMA, which I just wanted to say that because I thought it was funny.
It is funny. It is funny.
Which is like the JAMA, which is the like the arcade Screen Actors Guild. Okay. Basically, you know what I mean? As you will.
Like the
in Japan.
Academy? The Academy of Arcades.
Basically, in Japan, right? Okay. So like if you want to make arcade cabinets, you have to like belong to this organization. And they left it because they're like, we're done. We're not making arcades anymore. Fuck this shit. We're going to make consoles now. Cheers.
We should do a family trip to Japan.
Oh, I would love it so much.
Kate, damn it, run.
So anyway.
Everybody, let's do a family trip to Japan.
This led to them finally we're fucking here. After all this toy shit, these cards, these arcade games, we're finally here. They they finally make Game & Watch. You know what I mean? Because they're like, we could do this, right? You know, we've manufactured things. We've made arcades. We've made toys. Why don't we make a toy that is an arcade?
In your hand. Yes, I read about this.
Exactly.
I
so
read
now,
this is what I did the research on.
while I pee, you tell them about Game & Watch.
I did the research
and also,
on
you know,
Game & Watch.
that is a character.
And,
that is a character. So we said it 4 times.
What, Game & Watch?
That's a 5th time.
It's not a character.
He's a character.
No.
Yes, he is. Chat, tell me he's a character. IO5.
No.
I'll be back.
No, he's not.
You tell me about him. I'll be right back.
He's not a character. So I'm not even going to ring the bell on that because when I read about it, it said that it was like Mr. Ball or something. So, by the way, it was the first handheld that came out, and it was between what I read was that it came out in 1980, and it was from 1980 to 1991, and it's basically just a single game on an LCD screen, and then did I say that right? I'm sorry, I'm getting really drunk. So, an LCD. And it was just a game, and it had a clock on it, and that was it. And then, like, as it evolved, it had an alarm clock on it. So the first one that came out just had a clock. It wasn't like even an alarm clock, okay? But then after that, it had an alarm clock. Games that were included in the Game & Watch were Donkey Kong, Zelda, Star Fox, and Mario. I mean, I read it. If people on Google are wrong, then they lied to me. So, but they said that because it was a really simple handheld, there was like an A and B button, and you could change between games, but then basically it was like game A is like the easier version and game B is like a hard version, but it was essentially like the same game. But there were some games where it was like kind of a different game, but but yeah,
I feel like I'm going to die.
but that was it.
So yeah. Hi, I'm back.
See? Yes. Kate Dammit Run is right. I'm not going to say it
Okay, fine.
unless you
So
want
if
to
you
drink.
say the word Mr., then we have to drink.
See? Yes.
I mean, Mr. followed by the other thing.
Yeah, and it was, and that's right. I did read it, and I saw a picture of it. It was a silhouette.
This little guy.
Yes.
I'm gonna just show a
Okay.
picture.
So
This guy.
Yes.
See him?
See? Yeah.
But the games are different. The games are different because you're saying all these other games, and they're like, really, you should have been like baseball,
No, it
juggling.
came. No,
right?
because those games came. They were on Game & Watch, but it was in like the 3rd generation of it. Because that's what I read. It was on the multi-screen version of it. That's
Okay,
when those
I see.
games came out. The multi-screen version of the Game & Watch, which was like
Well,
the 3rd.
thank
But
you.
not the very first. The very first was, and you better just get ready, was Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah, of course.
and Ball. Whatever Ball was. I don't fucking know what Ball was, and Ball.
All right, I'm gonna give you a game. I'm gonna give you a game to play called Ball. We'll talk about it later.
That is not appropriate for this.
You like?
Okay.
How is that not appropriate?
I
You know what?
mean,
By the way, and you know what? I don't care what anyone
you
says.
just said
And by the way, and I don't care what anyone says. You know how I'm trying to bring cunt to America. I have a new term. For little cunts. I'm gonna start
Oh my
calling. I'm gonna start calling them
God.
cuntles.
no, but you didn't even bring cunt back to America yet.
Yeah, but I already have a new term for the for the shorter, smaller cunts.
But that's
You
really,
just call 'em-
really
You
rude.
just call them cuntles.
Oh no.
What do you think of that?
I don't know, chat. You tell me.
Like little cunts. You know what I mean?
You
Cuntle.
tell
You get it?
me.
Does that make sense?
I
Let's
feel
move on.
like you gotta try really hard.
Cuntlets. That's good. I do like that.
Cuntlets is better.
You're there.
Sorry.
But I do like cuntles because it's funny to me.
Cuntles is better. I'm going with Singer Bro. If we're gonna
I
do
said
little
cuntles. He said cuntlets.
Oh, cuntlets. Yeah, cuntlets is better.
Excuse me.
Cuntles?
All right. So in 1982,
Ah.
Nintendo developed a prototype system called the Advanced Video System, or the AVS. Its accessories include controllers, a tape drive, a joystick, and a light gun. The tape drive, essentially what they were trying to do at this time is, look, because of all the Atari nonsense and all of the, stuff out there, all that technology out there that people were like, well, all these games are trash. This whole thing is trash. It was like in 1983, there was a thing called the video game crash, which is 100% true. People stopped buying video games. Stock prices were plummeting.
1982.
Everything was shitty. 1983.
1983. Okay.
Yes. But, Nintendo was trying to develop their console in 1982, right before the crash had started to, really hit, in
Okay.
America. And then if you remember, Japan or Nintendo wasn't even fucking with America yet, really at all. Even, before 1983. They didn't start really doing things in America till 1983.
See?
So
The year of my birth.
hit the
everything
bell. I think there's a
amazing
drink in
happened.
there somewhere.
There wasn't.
I said the C word. Just hit the bell. So anyway, because there was sort of already a decline even before the crash, Nintendo was trying to stay ahead of the game and say look, people were buying PCs en masse at the time, right? A lot of people are buying PCs. They were like, okay, computers are the way, right? Fuck video games. Let's just buy PCs.
Because they're cuntinis.
They're cuntlets. Cuntinis. McCrunt. No, you gotta take the out of there.
Cuntets.
Just call them me cunt.
Me crunt. Me cunt.
Continue. So essentially what the AVS was Nintendo's answer to a computer. They were trying to essentially make a console/computer. So that's why it had a tape drive, right? It was like its own hard drive.
Wait,
tapes.
what?
You could play games on there. You could play music on there. You could do all sorts of shit on there. It
Wait,
wasn't
what
just
was this called?
the Advanced Video System.
Oh. Okay.
Right? Hit the bell because I said a word. It was never okay. But basically they took it to CES and they were like, "Guys, look at this computer we created. We're Nintendo." And there were a lot of people were like, whatever. And they tried to sell it and no one bought it. So, it was never released but it is on display at Nintendo World Store in New York. So in New York there's actually there's a store in there, and they've actually when Smash Bros would unveil their new characters and stuff, people will go in there and just watch the broadcast and stuff. The Nintendo the New York Nintendo store is a thing. Just look it up, check it out. Anyway,
So if we ever go to New York, we would have to
go there. Yes, because they do have the AVS on display there.
Because we will
which is really
go
cool.
to New York.
Yeah, no, we have to
So-
stop in there. I mean, it's still a store, so it's sort of like going to any old novelty store at that point. But they do have the AVS on display there, which was never sold to anyone ever.
Okay.
It's more of a concept. In July 1983, Nintendo released the Family Computer console in Japan, otherwise known as the Famicom. Everyone, let's have a drink. Let's have a drink for the Famicom.
Famicom.
Let's go.
Okay. Fine. Famicom, but I mean.
Famicom. This is what the Famicom looked like. I mean, we call it the Famicom in America. This thing. See this thing right here? Fuck.
Oh, so it's kind of like
See this? This is what it
Okay.
looked like in Japan originally.
nice. Okay. Because
Yeah.
it was is this what's going to evolve into what
Yes.
they.
Yes.
Okay.
We're almost there. We're so close. Just let it happen.
But hurry
Just
up.
let it happen. I'm almost
Because-
there.
I want everyone to look at my face.
I
See
don't care
this
about your face right now. I've been trying to speed through this story.
Because I'm very drunk.
I'm very drunk.
Not as drunk as the last episode, but drunk.
Miguel says they have a small museum at that New York store. Anyway,
Well, we'll have to go to the real
More-
Nintendo museum when we do the family trip to Japan.
yeah, true. But also we could just go to what is it? Redwood. Fuck, I can't remember. Washington.
Go on.
Washington. The Nintendo America is in Washington.
Well, we could
in
just
Seattle.
do it on our own.
It's in Seattle.
We
More,
were
okay.
in Seattle.
I
Why
know,
didn't we go there?
Just stop. Just
Well,
stop.
I hate
Okay,
you.
just please
Okay,
stop.
go.
Okay. So Famicom comes out in Japan. More than 500,000 units were sold within 2 months, at around $100 if we were to convert that into American money.
Okay.
So that's really great, right? Then they tried to kind of like they wanted to sell it into America, but then there was a fault in the system, so they had to recall a bunch of them. So they're like, all right, let's redesign it. They worked on the design a bit, and then they also knew that they needed to sell it to America. And so they're like, okay, let's redesign the whole thing. And they wanted to look at like less like a video game console and more like just an electronic people were already using, which is the VCR, right? And that's how we get the design of the NES.
Okay.
Finally, we're fucking here. Let's take a sip. Hit the bell because I said the C word.
Okay.
Right. And so essentially they like earlier they had gone to CES with the AVS. Then they went to CES with the Famicom, I believe. And then they came back with the NES, which is what we know and love. But
Are we going to pull up a picture of what we know and love? Because I would
Oh, yeah.
love to see
Sure.
it. Let's see it.
yeah, let's do it.
Let's
here it is.
pull it up. What does it look like?
Bam.
Oh, yes.
Right? But then like still people are like, whatever. And so they were like, we need a way to sell this thing, man. We need to make it seem more than just another Atari, right? Another cheap thing that people won't care about,
How sad.
you know, for kids, whatever. And so
Okay.
what do? That's right. They created a robot to say, hey, this is more than just the Atari.
Wait, what robot?
This is a fucking robot.
What robot?
This is a robot that responds to your commands, man.
Yes, it was a beautiful console. Kate, damn it, run.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was so sleek, very gray, had easy controls on it. I miss that thing. I do.
Right. So they wanted to develop something that would like not only just play games, but would also do something more to kind of like sell America on like we're more than Atari.
Oh, that
Right?
robot. Yes,
So-
I remember that robot.
Essentially,
Okay.
what this thing would do, and like let's bring it back to Yokoi, right? Remember Nintendo making cards, and then really hitting it big with fucking toys, right?
I feel like if
So
they
let's
do
make
that
a
robot
toy.
right now, I would just
let's
love
take a
it.
toy. Oh my god! Imagine them re-releasing the Rob.
If they
Oh
had that
my
right
God,
now, I would buy that.
it instantly.
I would buy that for my
Instantly,
like
I would love a Rob.
integrated with Alexa and stuff. Oh man,
Yeah.
I would. That
But
thing
the thing-
would be roaming around in
it's
my
funny-
house like that, like
It's fu-
that.
It's
Just
funny
telling you
because
right now.
so like Nintendo had like developed the Rob to kind of try to sell the Nintendo in America, right?
Okay.
And then they gave
Yes.
it to the Nintendo of America executives and people who worked there, and they were like, try this out. And everyone hated it. They said it was loud, it was slow, the games were dumb. They showed it at CES, they got the same feedback. And then they were like, fuck that. Let's still we need to get it into the hands of the consumer. And the second that it touched a consumer's hands, that was it. Nintendo had become Nintendo, as we know and love today.
Oh my God, let's remake it. Let's remake the Rob and hook it up.
Yeah.
So with Alexa and just like make it happen, or Google or whatever, because I would
Right.
buy that thing.
And then here's another
They could
interesting
sell that
tidbit.
thing for $400. I would buy it.
Here's another interesting tidbit before they got to the Rob.
$1,000 I won't.
Before they got to the Rob
Maybe.
moment. Hold on. Before they got to the Rob moment, Mochi Squeeze, if you listen, they actually approached Atari and they were saying like, look, we don't know the American market. We only know Japan. We don't know how to do this. How about you guys like sell the console and stuff, and we'll make all of the software, all the games. You know what I mean? And we'll, like, you guys sell all the stuff, and we'll make all the stuff, and we'll all make money. But Atari was like, no, that's dumb. I don't want to do all the work and sell your shit. You know what I mean? And just make a fraction of the price, right? So that just kind of didn't work out, right? And so that's why Nintendo was like, let's make Rob.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
R2D. Yes. King
So-
Diamond Run said, bring back Rob and let it dock onto your car like R2D2. I would totally do it. Do it. Absolutely. I would spend $1,000 for that. $1,000.
okay,
Here, there's no money.
Back to the wiki. To ensure the localization of highest quality games by third-party developers, Nintendo of America limited the number of game titles third-party developers could release in a single year to 5. Konami, the first third-party company that was allowed to make cartridges for the Famicom, which is the Nintendo.
We have a Konami here in Vegas.
We sure do. They make slot machines, and it's kind of shameful. Would later circumvent the rule by creating a spin-off company, Ultra Games, to release additional games in a single year. Other manufacturers soon employed the same tactic. Also in 1985, Super Mario Bros. Was released for the Famicom in Japan and became a large success. Nintendo test marketed the Nintendo Entertainment System, aka the NES, in the New York area on October 18th, 1985. So essentially they were like, all right, we have this robot, we have this stuff, we have a good game. Let's just see how it does in New York. So they only sold it in New York on their own, right? They said, like the Atari thing fucked up, right? They expanded the test to L.A. in February 1986 because it was so successul in New York, followed by tests in Chicago and San Francisco.
I'm wearing a Chicago shirt.
Yep. So that is like Nintendo came to America in this order: New York, then L.A., then Chicago and San Francisco, and then everywhere by the end of '86, along with 15 games sold separately. And it outsold its competitors by a wide margin. Also, this was the year that Metroid and The Legend of Zelda released, which are some of the greatest games of all time.
And
So let's take a couple sips.
I have to pee.
Yes, and Boxcar Miguel said it perfectly here. Konami makes more slots than games now. Basically, Konami is a dead game company. All they give a fuck about is gambling. So now that Mochi Squeeze is gone, let's talk a little bit about Nintendo Power. When do you think Nintendo Power was established? I'll give you a second. That's right. That's right. No, I'm just fucking with you. No, I can't actually hear what you're saying. It actually started. Nintendo Power actually started in 1988, which is wild, man. Because I had a subscription to Nintendo Power in the 90s. I didn't know it was that old, but the Nintendo Entertainment System was so successful that just in 2 short years they were already like, let's make a fucking magazine. And everyone subscribed to it. But yeah, at that point, that was it. Yeah, once the Nintendo hit the worldwide market, like, video games came back, right? Atari sort of like took video games in the home market, like revolutionized it in a way that like other consoles didn't, then killed it because they oversaturated. And then Nintendo showed up and said, hey, guess what? 8-bit is Lord. And then they came out with all these amazing games with partnerships with all sorts of companies. So here we are. We started with Hanafuda cards with games that we don't even know. Games that we don't even know the answer to, which, by the way, for the Switch, I do have the 51 Clubhouse Games game, and there are Hanafuda games on there. So we should play some of those.
So
we
now
could definitely
maybe
sit down and play them. And like the cards themselves that you're saying you want to get tattoos of, they're in that game. So check it out.
I would do the sun
fun.
and the
Hit the bell like 3 times. And let's
okay,
take 3
so
sips.
because how long has this gone? So we gotta think about it because I'm getting really drunk.
No, I know. Now we're gonna get into the fun part. Well, number one, let's just recognize Shigeru Miyamoto as an amazing guy who pretty much came up with a bunch of all of the Nintendo games we love today. And then also, let's not forget Gunpei Yokoi for being a badass engineer for Nintendo, who had not only created a ton of the toys and machinery for, like, you know, their consoles and stuff, but is also credited as the inventor of the Game Boy. We wouldn't have the Game Boy without this guy, which is incredible. You know, who didn't love the Game Boy? And then let's, you know what I mean?
Okay. So
let's also not forget the composer for, like, most of Nintendo games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is that one guy.
So
Koji Kondo. So we wouldn't have the Mario song as we know it today without Koji Kondo. And hit the bell one more time, and please hand me another drink.
Okay.
Steven, I give you so much credit for drinking along because I know that you sip every time you hear the bell. And we're just as drunk as you.
Thank you,
I'm
Steven,
really drunk.
For playing along with us.
I really hope
it.
that you enjoy our shenanigans because at the end of the day, I'm trying really hard to stay on topic here.
I think that we should really then now just move on to the Nintendo that we know now.
Yeah, we could, but we're talking about the NES. You know what I mean? The original Nintendo. But I don't want to. I'm not trying to shit on you or anything.
No,
but
I'm not.
I did put out a tweet earlier, and I asked some homies some questions. So here's the questions I put out. I said, "What's your favorite NES game? What's your first Nintendo console? What's something you love about the company? What's something you hate about the company?
BT Dub.
Your favorite character and your favorite franchise."
I read some of these on the tweets, and there are a lot of people that said their first console was the N64, and I'm like, see, this is how I know that I'm an old motherfucker. Because why is it the N64?
We're all the same age. You just missed out on it.
No, it's because my first Nintendo console was the first Nintendo console that came out in America.
I mean, me too, though.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if their first Nintendo console was the Nintendo 64, then that means that they're fucking younger, way younger than us.
No.
Okay, no. Okay.
No, some people just didn't get a Nintendo when we got a Nintendo.
Okay,
so I'm gonna read through them.
Everyone who said they had an N64 as their first console. Was it because that was really what you had in your time, or because you couldn't afford the original Nintendo?
I mean, people can't afford everything, Mochi Squeeze. I mean, you gotta give people a little bit of credit.
Are we all the same age, Singer Bro?
I spilled.
Just saying.
There's spillage. That was spillage. All right. So
no.
I spilled my beer on the floor, guys.
No trying to talk shit. Just saying. It's like, this is, I feel old. And I feel like people
look,
are like,
I hope you guys learned a thing or two about, like, think about Nintendo today. All right, let's relate everything we talked about Nintendo today. Toy, right? The word toy, right? They started as sort of a card/toy company. But I feel like even today, the Nintendo company that we know and love, it's all about toys. Even to this fucking day. Look at Amiibos, right? Look at the cardboard shit they make. They've partnered up with Lego to create Lego toys. They made a Mario Kart game.
I've distracted you. Let's read the...
I'm just saying that...
Read the things that...
Nothing has changed at Nintendo.
Okay,
nothing
read the
has
tweets
fucking
that everybody sent in.
Fucking Nintendo.
Okay, read the tweets.
I'm sorry, I'm karate chopping my mic. So this is what Singer Bro, aka Steven, said. First NES game, Legend of Zelda. And for these readings, let's not hit any bells. I'm just gonna read through them.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep it real clean.
No, but this
We're
is
all
the
drunk
game.
enough. First console N64. What does he love? The games don't try to be uber realistic and focus on fun. I do love that. Hate? What do you hate about Nintendo? Weird Nintendo decisions like online, aka they suck at their online services, or Joy-Cons.
It's
I do like Joy-Cons. I'm cool with Joy-Cons, but yes,
I got used to Joy-Cons because of Animal Crossing. But I agree with you.
Hi, Steven.
I agree with you, Steven.
His favorite character is Link, and his favorite franchise is Zelda.
They do break so easily.
No, the Joy-Cons, correct.
That's why, like, for Animal Crossing, when we got into Animal Crossing.
Yeah, she immediately got us Pro controllers.
Yes, I immediately got the Pro controllers.
She's like,
because I was like, nah. This is not.
Yeah, but
gonna
remember,
work.
they're a toy company first and foremost, right? They
Yeah.
want to make cheap toys.
Yeah, I mean, true. He's right.
The homie Icarus Panda, which if you remember, Foxy Steve from an earlier episode, that's his partner there. He said his favorite NES game is Mega Man 2. That's also mine. First console, N64. Love first party games, which means games created by the Nintendo company themselves. It's Mario, that's, Metroid, any of that stuff. Hate, disrespect of first party games, which just basically is saying, like, why aren't they making a new Star Fox? You know what I mean? Character / franchise, Street Fighter and Star Fox. So, there you go. They did kind of debut on Nintendo consoles, I believe. Toys. Power Ranger toys were amazing. And I feel like that has nothing to do with Nintendo. So, I don't know why I read that. Sam, who you know, Pizza Man Sam, says his favorite NES game is Tetris.
Oh yeah, no, that was a
I
good
thought
one.
that was on a Game Boy.
That was on the Game Boy, but that still should count. I feel like
First
right?
console, GameCube / Game Boy Advance. Well, it's only one answer, so I'm gonna go with GameCube. Love weird Nintendo decisions. Hate weird Nintendo decisions. So there you go. Favorite character on the Nintendo is Sora, which is from Kingdom Hearts, and that's I guess a joke, but Sora is cool. Favorite franchise, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the TikToks. He loves that.
He does love that. And then Matt Grover, the homie, who will eventually be on the show.
He loves that.
NES game favorite, Super Mario 3, which I'm floating between Mega Man 2 and Mario 3. I'm not sure which one. First console, GameCube, technically, but I also grew up with my brother's Super Nintendo. So this guy's obviously young.
I feel like the GameCube is the one that had like
GameCube's a great console.
It had the joy thingy, that control.
I don't know what that means. He loves the amount of care they put into first party titles. He hates how much they prevent playing from it. He says hate how much they prevent played from accessing old game. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think he means like, I hate how much they don't like to port their stuff to new consoles.
Dude,
And I agree with that.
got into a Twitter war with someone back in the day.
And this guy says his favorite franchise is Smash
Super
Bros.
Mario 3.
It's great. Super Mario 3 is great. Mochi, I said to just kind of pause the bells while I go through this portion.
This is the game. This is the
Right.
show.
So I need to drink
is the
7
show.
times in a row or
We
something.
only pause when we start to do the 25-cent advice. The game is the game. The show is the show. This is it.
All right, I
okay?
just took 7
See?
drinks.
See?
Was that enough?
Come on.
I think that was enough.
This is like, if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it for
Okay.
the viewers, right?
Okay, the last part of the show is where we talk about the games we like. I asked a bunch of people in my life, what's your favorite Nintendo game? And one of them said Contra. Those aren't.
Wait,
Those
are
aren't
we doing
people.
all?
No, just
games?
no, because you specifically said the Nintendo Entertainment System, which is the one that came out in 1986, the 8-bit console. That's all we're talking about today,
Okay.
technically.
So my favorite.
What's your favorite game from that particular console? And also, I pulled up IGN's top 100 NES games for us to go
Mine was If I'm gonna be completely
Yes, I'm at the edge,
honest,
Steven.
if we're
That's
gonna
correct.
be completely honest, on the OG console, my favorite one was
Why?
Duck Hunt.
Duck cunt.
Duck Cuntlets. Is
No,
what
why
I
can't
did.
you just say duck cuntle?
Duck Cuntle. What were the
That's awesome.
iterations for this? Duck Cuntlets. Duck Cuntles.
Let me
Dunk-
go back up
duck-
in this. Duck cuntiti.
Cuntities.
Duck
duck-
cuntets.
Cuntits.
Duck
Dunk.
Mr. Mystery.
No, that is not one. So it's Duck
All right,
Cuntlets.
anyway.
Dunk Cut TTs. Dunk.
It's
something.
duck cuntini.
Duck Cuntinis.
All right.
So-
Anyway, so we got ice hockey at number 100. What do you think the number 50 will be, Mochi?
Chat pause due to scroll.
Oh,
Scroll back down, you motherfucker.
relax.
Yeah, see?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a fucked up game. Dude, I have to pee again. This is bullshit.
But yeah, but I loved Duck Hunt.
Tell us some of your other favorite games.
Well, I don't know, because on the original, you're gonna have to drink. On the original console, I liked Duck Hunt. I didn't I played Mario, but I was not good at it. So I really did not like that. Because if anyone knows me, anyone out in this Twitch universe, if they know me personally, they know I'm a very sore loser. I hate losing. So if it's a game that I know I'm not going to win, I just avoid it because I hate losing. And I know people are going to be like, oh, you should just try. I know I should, but guess what? I'm not going to do it unless I can commit to it and try over and over again. So that's it. And again, on Super NES, I did the Donkey Kong, which I loved, and it was amazing. But after that, it fell off because I don't like the little joystick. When they changed the controllers, it was over for me. I hated it. Even now, I can't even do it. Like, when I do Animal Crossing and I have to use a joystick, I really had to really tell Jacob, you need to tell me how this really works when I got the pro controllers. It's just like, because I need to make it happen. But that's only because I really wanted to make that happen. Because I loved Animal Crossing. I don't know. You know what I mean? And yes,
Animal Crossing's amazing.
Boxcar Miguel. I love the movie The Wizard.
Oh, the movie The Wizard's really good.
That
That's a
is
great
one of
movie.
my faves.
But you know what game they play, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what game.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Which is probably the greatest Nintendo
Yeah.
game of all time. NES.
Yeah, because if I was going to say my top 5 movies, it probably would be
Oh
like...
god, that was a disgusting burp. It was like almost
top
a
5
puke.
movies would be like easy movies. Like if I was going to be stuck on an island and I need to watch a movie all over and over again, I would probably pick 13 Going on 30, Angus Thongs and Perfect Snoggings,
Oh yeah,
The Wizard.
she does love Angus Thongs.
I love
That's
Angus Thongs, yes. And The Wizard, that would be on it.
Mhm. Yep.
And I don't even know.
Original
I just
Mario
have to do
Bros.
3.
Not even Super Mario Bros. I like regular Mario Bros.
So, you know. But okay, so that's my story.
Uh-huh.
And that is it.
Okay, so what's your favorite Nintendo game again?
OG would be Duck Hunt, but then
Duck
on
Hunt.
Super NES it would be Donkey Kong.
According to IGN, Super Mario Bros. 3 is the best game of all time, followed by The Legend of Zelda, which I get, both of those, followed by the OG Super Mario,
Yeah, no, look,
which makes sense, followed by
Super-
Mega Man 2, I agree with this list so far. And then we got Castlevania 3,
So, but Super
Dracula's
Mario
Curse,
Brothers
which I don't
3,
know so
I'm
much.
going to tell you, Super Mario Brothers 3, I loved it because I liked when you had the feather
Ooh,
and then you could like
Metroid.
you look like a beaver and you. But I didn't play it
Wow.
as much because I sucked at it. But I did watch my cousin play it a lot, and I did like it a lot. So that's why I like that. So and I
Contra.
even liked the movie
A
because.
sight bike.
And that's when the Power Glove came into play, okay?
You know what? I mostly agree with this list. This list is really good. If you look at this IGN Top 100 NES games, like this is very true. That all these games are really good. Blaster Master, Bubble Bobble, Blades of Steel, Castlevania 2. You know what I mean? Metal Gear. Kirby's Adventure, to me, the only thing I don't really agree with, take this game, put it like number 5 or something. Because I love Kirby's Adventure. And before we leave, I'm gonna play.
Now I'm gonna want
play
to
a
watch
Kirby's
The
Adventure
Wizard
song.
after. Oh man!
No,
we're
what
gonna
we
have to
should
watch
be
it.
doing is playing Nintendo games.
The Wizard. They're gonna do it. Love it.
They're gonna
Okay.
do it. What?
No, we're gonna watch The Wizard as we eat my turkey burger
Oh.
and your
Wait,
hot dog.
Don't I have another window that has a lot of research on it?
No, but we're done. We're like, okay, so we're gonna
Okay,
talk
this is
about.
gonna be the moment of the episode right before we end where I play some Kirby music. Are you guys ready for some Kirby music? I hope so.
No, well, what I wanted to talk about before we ended was
Uh-huh.
that in the more latest version of the console, we
Yeah.
have the Switch, and the only game I love to play on the Switch is Animal Crossing.
Oh, it's an incredible game.
Uh,
But did you know that if you subscribe to their online service, you can play Nintendo games from the NES, like most of them, like all the best ones. And not only do they have that, they have the Super Nintendo, which to me is one of my favorite consoles of all time.
yeah,
Which has some of the best games ever. And then you have to give them an extra $35 a month to play Nintendo 64 games, which we all know, as See Me Bitch said earlier, 64 bits. So let me just put it in this context for you quickly, all right? And it's all math, right? So what's 8 times 2? What's 8 plus 8? Mochi Squeeze.
I mean, are you really trying to?
Yeah,
ask me
no.
a math
What's
question
8
right
plus
now?
8? What's 8 doubled? What do you think?
16.
No. Really? Or is that your final answer?
I don't know.
That's correct. I'm just I'm just fucking with you. So
I just want everyone to
that's
know.
legit. I'm
Like
just messing with you.
everyone, look at me in the camera. Jacob,
you did a good job. You
look,
did it correctly.
Look, everyone, look at me in the camera. Jacob always likes to take my very weaknesses and try
What?
to expose them for what they
Come
are.
on.
And I never
Everyone
do that.
knows my weaknesses just by listening
I
to me
never
talk.
do that to
Okay?
him. I never
Mochi,
straight up say,
you
Jacob,
did it correctly.
this is it. Do you know this?
I just put you on the spot. Listen,
And
all
I
right?
never put him on the spot. Anyone?
Hold on, Mochi.
Anyone?
Listen for a second.
And Boxcar Miguel said 12.
You put me on the spot earlier in the episode.
About what?
I don't know about information about Nintendo. Regardless, listen for a sec.
Yeah, but that's not.
Listen. All right, hold on. The Nintendo Entertainment System is an 8-bit console. So everything that console could do is just 8 bits. The Super Nintendo is a 16-bit console, which is double the bits, right? So essentially, the Super Nintendo can take what the regular Nintendo does and double it. Everything from the sound to
Yes.
the visuals, right?
But I just want to say, everybody knows I'm bad at math, and Jacob always tries to.
I'm
put
just
me on the
fucking
spot
with you.
about math.
And so what? But take the Nintendo 64, right?
Do I
Divided
try to
by
put
8.
him on
Divide
the spot about
64
terrible things?
Do you want to end the episode or do you not want to end
I
the episode?
do, but I'm just saying.
So listen for a
they
second.
know. They know. The viewers know.
8 bits is the basic amount, right? That's the Nintendo amount. This Nintendo 64, a 3D console, 64 bits is actually 8 times 8. So it's literally 8-bit 8 times. That creates the Nintendo 64.
Okay.
So it's that much more powerful
Yes.
than the console we've been talking about.
Yep.
So anyway, listen to this Kirby song.
All right. We listened to the Kirby song.
You haven't
ready?
listened to the whole thing. Wait. Tell me this shit isn't tight.
Okay. So we listened
Can we
to
do
it.
one more? Can you do
No.
one more?
We cannot do one
Let's do the
more.
Mega Man 2 Waterman theme. Let's
We
do that one.
cannot.
Bubble Man, excuse me.
Okay. Last one. Okay. Okay. We're done. We're done with it. Okay. Okay.
I just had
that's
to
it.
at least talk a little bit about the music chipset of the NES. It was amazing. And then the Game Boy also uses like I believe an 8-bit chipset, but it was a little bit different.
Nice.
So all I have to say is that Nintendo did a really good job at creating their chipsets, and then, it's so good. You know what, Mochi Squeeze? I feel like there's something about you where you just don't respect synthesizers, but you really should. You should love a synthesizer.
I do love a synthesizer.
And then you're telling me you don't like this? You don't like Mega Man 2 music?
Oh, I do.
It's great. Guys, I don't know what else to say.
You guys, we're done. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think we're done.
I'm just saying, like,
Mochi Squeeze, what do you have to say?
I love
about
I
Nintendo?
love the Nintendo.
These days, Nintendo's a little different,
I
right?
like simple things. And I
Nintendo's
think
all about, like, let's play a board game. Let's do a stupid race where we throw shit at you. Let's jump around with our dumb Italian plumber guy everyone loves.
I think
Nintendo is all it didn't Nintendo. It's funny, like, looking at Nintendo and thinking that they partnered with Disney at the beginning of their life cycle, essentially to sell more cards. When they almost like took the same concept and then said, "Hey, look, we're gonna be our own type of video game Disney," and that's where they are now, right?
But they don't work with Disney anymore.
No, but I'm saying they are the Disney of Japan, essentially, with video games.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you
so-
agree with that?
Yes.
Am I wrong? I could be wrong. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay. It's just interesting that, like, they had partnered with Disney in their card years, and then they had essentially stole Disney's, whole thing. And they were like, fuck it. You know what? You know what's missing from the formula? Disney. We're going to be Disney in Japan, and it essentially is just plumbers. So, yeah. That's all I got. What you got? Mochi?
Well,
Animal
I-
Crossing is a good game.
I mean,
There's a lot of silence here.
Yeah, because
what do
I
you
was-
want to say?
Okay, is it okay for me to talk now?
Yeah,
because
you
I
talk.
feel like the last couple times I was trying to say something and you kept on trying to say something.
No, I'm just trying to, like, spit out my thought.
Okay.
Because I've just been regurgitating research this whole time.
Okay, are you done?
No, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay,
That's
you're
why
really
I'm
done?
throwing it to you.
Okay, you're done.
I'm
We're
throwing it to
done.
you.
You're done. Are you sure? It's my turn. Okay. Just trying to make sure because it got weird for a second.
I'm not trying to make it weird. I was just trying to, like... I'm just trying to throw it to you.
Okay, because I was ready to talk and then like,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to spit out what I had to say real quick.
Okay. Are you fully finished?
Just say what you had to say.
Okay.
I know we're all drunk here at this point.
I know. So are we ready or am I
Dude,
ready?
just talk.
Okay.
Just go.
Okay, because...
What are you waiting for?
Okay, we're good? Okay, so what I was going to say was that, like, I love the Nintendo system because I like how it's simple. I like simple stuff. As a regular person, I like simple shit. And I like that. So that's what I like about it. And if anyone likes simple shit, like, just continue on with the Nintendo system, even the Switch, because Animal Crossing is still simple. Like, it's a simple game. You do some weird shit. You go on an island and you just live your life outside of your normal life, which is what draws me to it in the first place. So, yeah, that's all. And that's all I had to say.
And that's all correct. What's your 25-cent advice?
That get into Nintendo. I think that it's a good thing. And I think that you should keep Nintendo alive. And so that's my 25-cent advice. Just do it. Don't get into the glitz and glam of like Xbox and PS5 and all that stuff. Just
whoa. What are you trying to say?
experience the Nintendo for what it is.
Don't play an
Don't
Xbox?
compare Nintendo to those other consoles. You should not. Because it's in a whole different category, is what I'm trying to say. That's it.
Okay. My advice to you is just, like, get a Switch. Play the basic games. You know what I mean? And there's a lot. You want to race? Play Mario Kart. You want to jump? Play Mario Odyssey. You want to fucking, get weird? Play WarioWare. You want to play another good platformer? Play Donkey Kong. Because Donkey Kong's still around. You know what I mean? There's a lot of video games out there, but Nintendo is the most approachable.
And it's amazing.
And it's still there. And the good thing about the Nintendo Switch is that it's mobile. So like it comes with a dock that you plug into your TV. And so you could plug the console into the dock and then play it straight through your TV. Or you could pull the console out of your dock and you could just play it with your hands on the toilet. And that's what's great about the Switch.
Yep.
All we're waiting for nowadays is a more powerful console, essentially, that does the same thing. And it's been a while, but I have a feeling that the game of the year this year will be one of the games in the game of the year conversation will be on the Switch, which is a console that doesn't even come close to the performance of a PC or the PS5 or the Xbox Series X or even S. But is still going to be one of the best games of the year on an underperforming system, a.k.a. the Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That will be one of the best games of the year. And that has a lot to say about what Nintendo can do these days. I mean, we talked a lot about, like, they made cards, they made toys, and then they made, like, Nintendo console. And Nintendo's been around so long, but it's just like, man,
Don't let it go.
It's not that Nintendo makes a shitty console. It's like Nintendo makes a thing and then people like it, and it like they don't even care about comparing themselves to the competition. all they care about is like, are the games good? And that's all they give a shit about. And like that's what I like about Nintendo. But also Nintendo just kind of does whatever they want, no matter what anyone cares about. And that could be a good and a bad thing. So at the end of the day, just like know that like you can only play Nintendo games on a Nintendo console. And if you're asking yourself, is a Nintendo console worth buying for the games? The answer is yes. Absolutely. Even if they look like shit on your 4K TV because a fucking Nintendo Switch can't even broadcast 4K information to your 4K TV. Yes, it's still it's still worth it having a Nintendo console because the games are just that good. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead and buy one. And just remember, you can play Mario on the toilet, and for me, that's what it's all about.
Okay. Awesome.
So yeah.
So we are now. That is the end.
Did we do
that.
our 25-cent advice?
We did right now.
Is that what that was?
That was what it was.
My 25-cent advice is buy a Switch. Just do it. It's
Okay.
cheap. It's actually pretty cheap.
Yes. Very. Okay. So we are. That is it for the show.
Yeah. I hope you
We
enjoyed
end
it.
with a Coup de Grace shot. I don't know if Jacob's okay for a Coup de Grace shot.
Oh yeah, no, I'm absolutely
Okay,
fine.
so you gotta pour the shots
I'll have to pour it.
because Jacob has the Jameson. We're only gonna do half shots, because we are already very drunk. But luckily we do not have to go anywhere because we don't have to go anywhere because I have brought back food from Muya, a weird place here in Vegas. I don't know where it's at. You know.
And I hope you've had the shot ready to go. But
Yeah,
because
have our
coup de grace means live, laugh, love, and drink. And when we take the shot, and it's still.
just
I'm sorry.
don't play the music.
It's looping. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, so
God damn it.
this is our Coup de Grace shot.
Live, laugh, love, and drink. Take the shot with us.
Take a shot with us.
This is how we end the show.
Yes.
So, anyway.
So here, cheers.
Coup de grace
Coup de Grace.
to you. Thanks for being here. I hope y'all like Nintendo. We like Nintendo. I like Nintendo. I just feel like Nintendo could do better, and I hope they do better in the future. And you know, they still think they're a toy company, so go ahead and buy Amiibos. Because Amiibos are really cool, and you can use them to like do things in video games and whatever. So I don't know, Nintendo.
I feel like Nintendo is
Nintendo. Cheers.
Nintendo is the FAO Schwartz, the regular toy company, versus these virtual toy companies that they can never outrun, and it's so sad.
It's like have you ever seen what's that movie? Fuck. Home Alone. You ever seen Home Alone 2?
I am.
Okay, she's falling apart. Home Alone 2 is the movie where like Macaulay Culkin becomes friends with the toy shop owner.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what it's like.
So I want to see the Nintendo version of that.
Yeah. So we're gonna go now.
I don't know.
Thank you
Goodbye.
for like listening to us.
Yeah.
So we love you.
We don't gotta-
You're not gonna see me next week.
We don't gotta ask
But we'll be
about
back.
like what we're gonna eat because we already have it. But
Yes.
we appreciate you and everything. You know, thanks for watching our dumb show and drinking along. I hope you're as drunk as we are, and we'll
And
see y'all
if-
next
if
week.
The fam is listening.
I'll see you next week.
If the fam is listening still, okay, damn it, run, everybody. When we do protocol, we have to drink some beers. I mean, that's what happens. So get ready.
And I can't wait to hear your report from that. We'll see y'all next
All
week.
right.
See you. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
Goodbye.